Releasing Uganda's separate musician turned politician Bobi Wine from other passengers as he arrives in the country. A South African man has been arrested after using a racial slur to describe President Cyril Ramaphosa. And Zimbabwe's President Emmerson Mnangagwa reshuffles top ranks of the country's civil service. Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Teniola Shobowale. We begin in Uganda, where opposition MP and pop star Bobi Wine has returned to the country after a medical trip to the United States. He was escorted home by a police convoy after his supporters were barred from seeing him. On getting to his home, he addressed a huge crowd of his supporters who have been celebrating his return. While at the international airport in Kenya, before boarding a flight back, he said he's afraid of returning home because of the way the government is conducting itself. He still faces charges of treason in connection with the alleged stoning of President Yoweri Museveni's convoy.
I just request the government to settle down, to cool down. It should just comply with Bobi Wine instead of trying to disorganize his rights, because he is a Ugandan and we are Ugandans.
I'm so happy because the man is struggling for us, the man is fighting for us. We like youth, we have never benefited anything through this government. So I think that me myself that I'm so happy, and even the others who are so happy more than me, I'm happy to welcome our president because we are tired of this fake government like this. We youth have never benefited anything from those governments.
Let's get more on this story now from an African affairs analyst, Mr. Achike Chude. Thanks for joining us on the program. What do you make of the manner in which the Ugandan government is reacting to Bobi Wine's return to the country?
Okay, thank you, Kenyatta. Well, I think they are making him bigger than he is already. We must remember that it is his incarceration that really brought him to the limelight. And sometimes all you need to, if you want to respond to such people, as much as possible, the best way usually is to, as much as possible, ignore them. But once you try to make martyrs or heroes out of them, then you make them bigger than they are. And I think that this is what the man has become. He has become more of a folk hero. And of course, you know that with what is going on in Uganda, the president more or less unchallenged, and he has been showing unchanneled power. So this is, I think, the very first time in a very long while that there is a visible opposition to him. And they are helping that opposition figure to even be bigger than he is under normal circumstances.
Right, so there are fears in some quarters that Bobi Wine, who also said that he was afraid to return home, might be killed. Do you share this same fear as well?
We have seen it in the African continent, so it's not anything new. This happens. Again, we know the structure of government and governance in Africa. We understand that the syndrome of the strong man. They do not like any form of challenge, and that gives you an idea of the level of the development of our democracy. The reality is that most of our leaders in the continent have not yet imbibed the ethos and ideals of democratic tenets. And that is why from time to time they tinker with the provisions of the Constitution to give themselves a lifeline, to stay much longer in power and all of that, which has in Uganda. So any opposition to that will incur the wrath of the government of the day. And we have seen that in the way they have been handling some opposition figures in Uganda. So that possibility of assassination is very, very high. And of course, if it does happen, the government is going to, come out and issue a statement denying any form of knowledge or complicity in that assassination. And then Ugandans will move on. We have seen this happen before. I don't know how he's going to handle his own personal security issues. I'm talking of Bobi Wine, but that possibility is high.
Okay, the Ugandan lawmaker was in the United States receiving treatment for injuries he says he received while in police custody. What role should the international community play in unraveling what really happened?
I don't know. The issue of unraveling what happened to him, I think it's clear enough. I mean, he went to hospital in the United States, so there are doctors who treated him, and they can actually evaluate the extent of injury, if any, that he suffered and the rest. So I think it is easily verifiable, But so that in itself should not, even be a problem. I think that the role of the international community should be that of intolerance, for the government of the day. Because, we have been watching, Museveni toy with the laws of the land and toy with the feelings of Ugandans with regards to governance. We have seen him change the constitution from time to time and all of that. So I want to believe that the international community right now is very, very disappointed in the man, and I'm not exactly sure that they will give him any benefit of doubt. Whenever there is an issue now, I think he has sold the international community and every other person short.
Finally, let's look at the government's practice of stifling dissent. Do you see Bobi Wine succeeding in challenging the president where others have failed?
What we are seeing in Uganda is an evolving, an unfolding scenario. The situation is flux. Anything can change at any moment. But one thing I know is that it's almost obvious that Museveni, the president, has overstayed his welcome in Uganda. And that is testified by the level of opposition that he's facing today from everywhere. And perhaps what others have not been able to do. But Bobi Wine might do that. Do not also forget his age. He's still a very, very young man. And a lot of youths in Uganda are still very active and are interested in what is happening. He is more of a folk hero. He's an artist, he's been in the public limelight for other things, not just for politics and the rest. And so having entered politics, the way he has been embraced by the people clearly shows that the people are looking for a hero. They are looking for an alternative, to the president. If he doesn't achieve much at this particular point in time, I can tell you that in the next, election that comes, that will be coming around the corner, not too long from now, he is going to make a much, much bigger impact, provided, that nothing untoward happens to him.
African Affairs Analyst, Mr. Achike Chude, thanks for joining us on the program.